that in our society, everybody's trying to accumulate. Either it's things, stuff, power, success. It's getting things. It's having things. But what people don't realize, or what we need to realize, or maybe people do realize it, but they don't practice it, is that it's not things that make you happy. It's consciousness. If you have a high level of consciousness, you're happy without things. If you have a low level of consciousness, you have everything and you're not happy. So we want to learn how to elevate our consciousness. And elevating our consciousness is natural. It's who we are as spiritual beings. We are higher conscious beings. We have a lower nature, but we have a higher nature. A lot of people give in to the lower nature, and those people are very unhappy. But the people who elevate themselves, who go into the spiritual, the higher divine nature, those are the ones who are happy because they live in the world of love, they live in the world of compassion, they live in the world of peace, tolerance, forgiveness. And the people who live on the lower levels of consciousness live in the world of jealousy, envy, hatred, lust, greed, and those things. And if you're living on that level of consciousness, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't be happy. But the way you'll try to be happy is you'll try to forget your consciousness. You'll drink your consciousness away so you don't have to experience your hatred and your greed and your lust and anger. And then we call that happiness. Now that's sick. If you have to numb your very consciousness to be happy, what does that say about your consciousness? It's something you're trying to run away from. And a lot of times people do things, they get into hobbies or they're workaholics just to get away from themselves. So we need to deal with our consciousness. We need to elevate and purify our consciousness. That's how we're going to become happy. And I want to tell you a story about this, and I think you'll really appreciate it. So once there was a very poor woman. She had a little bit of land. She had a little shack on the land. And basically all the food she got to eat and whatever money she made was from her land. So one day, she's farming, and she finds, when she's digging up the earth, she finds a very, very valuable stone. And she recognizes the value of this stone, and she realizes that this stone is so valuable that I'll never have to work again in my life. I can live now a life of plenty, a life of luxury. I can have whatever it is I need. And as a pious woman, she also thought, and I can help other people. All my financial problems will now be solved. Any conditions that I've had to deal with my family, with my health, now I have the money to deal with it. So she took this very valuable jewel, she put it in her bag, and she began walking away. And in the bag, there was a long, long loaf of bread sticking out. And there was one very poor man who came up to her, and as is the culture in India, they address women as mother. He said, "Mother, I'm very hungry. Can I have some bread?" So she said, "Certainly." And she went to her bag and she broke the loaf in half. And she gave him some bread. And while she was breaking the loaf in half, he saw that jewel. And he said very boldly, he said, "Mother, can I have that jewel?" So she gives the jewel, but the next day, he comes back and he brings her back the jewel. And she's astonished. But more astonishingly, he says, "I'm giving you back this jewel because I know you have something more valuable." And the woman's thinking, right. Like I live in a little shack on a small plot of land. All my clothes have holes in them. What are you talking about? What more valuable thing do I have? He said, "Yes, you have something more valuable. And I'm going to beg this from you, and I plead and beg you give it to me." She said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I want what it is that's inside of you that enabled you to give me that jewel. That's what I want." Isn't it that we all want to be better? We all want to have a pure consciousness. We want to be able to be of service, to be aligned with Spirit, to have divine guidance and bring that into our life. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what makes us happy? When you experience affection, when you show affection, you experience affection. When you show hatred, you experience hatred. You know what Buddha said? Buddha said, "You're not punished by your anger." No, he said, excuse me. Buddha said, you're not punished for your anger, you're punished by your anger. When you get angry, you punish yourself. Isn't it a fact that we do an excellent job of punishing ourselves with anger, with jealousy, with envy, with greed, with resentment? I hate that person. Who are you punishing when you hate somebody?